It's not Christmas yet, but I already got my present. Oh my god! The drip, the swag, the thirst! It's gonna sound crazy, but I 100% believe that WWE are watching my channel. I've been talking about the farmer Brock Lesnar for years now, and WWE said, let's embrace the farmer side of Brock Lesnar. I honestly do feel like a child on Christmas. That was great, but that wasn't everything that WWE gave you. WWE finally answered the biggest question we have, the one thing that kept us awake at night. No need to worry anymore. WWE gotcha. What is the best tag team in WWE? WWE with the burning question right here. You may say it doesn't make any sense. I say, yeah, kinda. But welcome back to the channel, everyone. Hopefully you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for spending some of your time with me. I really appreciate that. It just feels like over a month ago my channel took a big shit on the bed and my performance is not as good as it was before. I don't know what happened, but it really stressed me out. Could be just my upload schedule or not actually uploading the content that I should be uploading. Maybe wrestling is not as interesting right now. Maybe it's one of these periods. I'm not sure, but I'm honestly a bit stressed out, and it sucks because I believe my content actually got a lot better. You know, I put a lot of work in my editing and all that, and it kind of sucks, honestly. So if you have any suggestions of what kind of content you would like to see more, let me know in the comments below. The show kicked off with Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn in a wheelchair and male nurses. Man, nurses these days are really jacked. Zayn introduces himself and says he's the toughest man in WWE history. Don't judge on what you see right now, but what it took to put him in this state. It took Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns teaming up, two enemies teaming up against Sami Zayn because, you know, Sami is a real threat. And Sami must sue. He's suing Adam Pearce, Sonya Deville, the referee, Roman Reigns, Lesnar, Paul Heyman, and that's when Paul Heyman interrupts. Heyman goes to do his usual introduction, but Sami interrupts. I'm trying to talk and you're blocking my shot. Heyman keeps talking and talking, and Sami Zayn stands up. He's threatening to rip Heyman's head off, but we see Brock Lesnar. Christmas got that much better. You know, I was stressed out. Honestly, I've been feeling pretty sad for a couple of weeks, but once I saw Brock Lesnar in that farmer's outfit, it just made my day, and quite honestly, quite frankly, it just made my Christmas. You know, I already got my present. Now I have zero expectations because I simply don't need anything else. And who knew Brock Lesnar is that much of a comedian? This whole segment was unbelievable. Brock Lesnar takes a seat. How are you doing, Sami? Not great. Lesnar laughs at the wheelchair, the neck brace, and the male nurses. Sami says it's all Lesnar's fault, but Lesnar says, shut up, kid. We got off on the wrong foot. Brock Lesnar apologizes, but wants to know how bad it really hurts. It's a 10 on the physical scale, but his feelings are hurt on 20. Because he got betrayed by his best friend, Brock Lesnar. Happened to me before as well. I forgave Brock. I forgave Brock because Brock is a very good human being who's just, you know, he had a tough childhood. Once we actually, you know, sit down and squeezed a bunch of warm milk. And let me tell you, the milk was delicious. And, you know, I was ready to take a shot. I hear something, I turn around, I turn back, and my glass, my shot of milk was freaking empty. So I had a really hard time forgiving Brock Lesnar, but I saw him in that farmer's outfit, and I just couldn't help but smile. And Lesnar is obviously manipulating Sami Zayn, saying that we could be friends and we should go hunting. We're both from Canada. Sami says, yeah, Canadian alpha males.
Well, je ne sais quoi, baby.
Well, that's just beautiful. Come on, Sami, let's get out of Hollywood and go do something more fun. That is not a bad idea. So Lesnar starts wheel Sami away, and Heyman just lost his mind. What are you doing? If that was the same Brock Lesnar we saw a few years ago, we would have Suplex City already. Heyman cannot believe what Brock Lesnar turned into. And here's what changed Brock Lesnar. You know, he's drinking kefir, or whatever you call it. In Lithuania, we drink kefiras, which is basically kind of a spoiled milk. Sounds bad? It's not that bad. It's actually pretty good. Well, Brock Lesnar's Canadian stomach can't handle it. So every time before a match, he had to drink some kefir. It was diarrhea time, so that's why he was so angry all the time. But now he just sticks to the warm, fresh milk and he's happy. But this gave Brock Lesnar flashbacks and he absolutely destroyed Sami Zayn and the male nurses. The old Brock Lesnar was back. And if I'm being honest, I'm not too happy about it. I like the new and improved Brock Lesnar. I like the happy, smiling Brock, a farmer Brock who knows who he truly is and doesn't try to hide behind this alpha persona. Kayla asked Brock backstage why he came to the ring just now. Lesnar says, "Why don't you ask my advocate Paul Heyman?" Another tease, and yep, Paul Heyman is gonna be in a lot of trouble next week. Even Kayla talked about Brock Lesnar. Paul Heyman, ignored it, but then Kayla said, "Well, how do you think Roman Reigns is going to react?" And Heyman pooped a little. So we might just see a big plot twist at WWE Day 1. It's kinda interesting to me, why are we seeing this match at Day 1? It seems like this is going to be the WrestleMania match, unless WWE wanna do Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. So it's really interesting, and I'm really worried that this could be the last time we're seeing Brock Lesnar in the WWE, at least for a while. Because I've heard Brock Lesnar is not getting the same amount of money, which is crazy to me. We saw Los Lotharios versus Rick Boogs and Shinsuke Nakamura, who is the Intercontinental Champion, by the way, unless you forgot. WWE sure did. So this was okay, I guess, but the finish was kinda weird. So we saw a Kinshasa, but the announcers didn't realize it was Kinshasa, so they didn't react. Michael Cole was like, a good kick by Shinsuke. And that was actually it. Yeah, that Kinshasa really did look kinda weird, so yeah, that was kinda underwhelming. Xavier Woods got a new crown. It's really big. That's way too big. Adam Pearce tells Drew McIntyre that he can't take his sword to the ring tonight. And Drew jabs the sword through Pearce's desk. Drew McIntyre is putting a lot of WWE workers in danger, and I think he should be suspended immediately. It's not a safe work environment. We saw Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre. Feels like I'm watching Raw, the Thunderdome era. Which was alright, didn't mind it. My wife didn't watch wrestling for a while now, and she actually watched this episode of SmackDown. She was like, "Oh, that's still happening?" No, we actually didn't see that match for a while now, but you do have a point. Drew McIntyre wins the match with a Claymore, and that was basically it. Naomi was ready for her match against Sonya Deville. We see Sonya in her ring attire. It seems like we're finally gonna get that match, but Naomi was a special guest ring announcer, and Shayna Baszler was a special guest timekeeper. The match starts and Naomi quickly goes for Natalya and Sonya Deville. So basically they all teamed up on Naomi, but then we see Xia Li making her debut. I know she's talented and all that, and this debut was alright, it wasn't anything special. I can live with it, but oh my god, that entrance. Is she trying to turn into a Super Saiyan while walking to the ring? God, I hate these WWE effects. I can handle it at WrestleManias and the big pay-per-views, whatever. I can handle it when we see Demon Balor and we see all these crazy graphics. It kinda does make sense. You really need to slow down with these. That's one of the biggest reasons why I don't like WWE's production. It's a bit too much. So she basically saves Naomi, attacks Sonya Deville, Shayna Baszler, and Natalya, and that was her debut. It wasn't bad, but obviously a bit underwhelming. They hyped her up really, really much, and this was, whatever. But the worst thing about it was, again, the entrance. That's too much. That's too much, man. That's too much. We saw Charlotte Flair versus Toni Storm, a championship contender match. Love these, as you guys do as well. It's all about the cakes. It's all about the cakes in this one. And, Charlotte Flair got disqualified when she just kept stomping Toni Storm, and that's it. I hate this. This should be interesting. Toni Storm should be elevated to the main event, and that's what we want, but it's all about cakes. And WWE tweeting it without realizing it looks a bit different than you think it does. It's white liquid on their faces. What kind of cake is that? Seems like spoiled milk. Brock Lesnar tells a story to Adam Pearce and thanks him, you know. He basically hunted a deer and he skinned him and all that, and it reminds him of Adam Pearce, so he gave it a name, Pearce. So thank you. Thank you very much. Storytime with Brock Lesnar is something that I should play every time before sleep. I appreciate that. That was wonderful, and Brock Lesnar is a great storyteller. Not only the story was great, his voice is so soft and just, you know, music to my ears. But the thing is, the highlight of this was the fact that Brock Lesnar is not gonna be manipulated by big tech. He's not gonna be manipulated by Samsung, Apple, or anyone. You may be thirsting over these new phones and spending way too much money that you don't need to. Brock Lesnar doesn't care about materialistic belongings. He's still using a flip phone. Well, he was using that. Everything about this Brock Lesnar run is just wonderful. And then we saw the main event. RK Bro versus the Usos versus the New Day. Yes, RK Bro are from Raw. And we got this match because it was okay, but I've said this many times, I can't stand the triple threat or fatal four or whatever tag team matches where we actually don't see three men in the ring, but we see basically a normal tag team match, but you can tag a separate tag team, and I hate this. I really don't like it. I don't know how much impact it actually did on the match, but it was voted that RK Bro is the best tag team, which in terms of entertainment, TV time, what I'm seeing right now is true. They're the most entertaining thing on Raw in general. But New Day actually won that match, and they've been voted as, out of these three teams, the worst one. So maybe just a coincidence, but this didn't do anything. Honestly, what did that achieve? What was the point of this? Why did you even put RK Bro in this match? Anyway, people, thank you for watching this video. Thanks to WWE for making my Christmas that much more special. Like, subscribe, bells, whistles, notifications, and all of that BS. Thank you very much, The Great One. Peace, love, and hugs. It's been a pleasure.